I've got a windy road coming up, and you know, we're gonna downshift right now. Hit it now, so you can kind of see the upshifting response on this. So you're thinking about buying a 10-speed automatic GT, but you always get questioned, why would you get a Mustang GT with an automatic transmission? As you can see, I have my 10-speed automatic GT right here, and I've owned this car for almost 6 years, and I really enjoyed driving it with the 10-speed transmission. Yes, there has been some quirks here and there, but today we're gonna really address why would you want to get an automatic GT versus the manual, and more specifically, the paddle shifter response versus the stick shift. As you can see, I've got the paddle shifters right here, and really want to focus here because yes, 10 speeds are faster, but the argument typically ends up being you want to road through your own gear, so why would you just kind of click a button and go into a gear? But today I want to focus on the paddle shifters themselves and see how much enjoyable experience can you really get out of an automatic GT. The statement kind of held true when you had these automatics, which, you know, just did not have any sport mode here, no pedal shifters. You got like your 4-speed, 5-speed automatic transmission. When you hit the brakes, there's no rev miss, downshift, none of that. And unless you're flooring the car, you're not really enjoying the car. And that's where the stigma really comes from. Having a performance car with an automatic transmission was kind of a letdown. But obviously nowadays, a lot of cars are moving to automatic transmissions for a very good reason. One, they're consistent, they're faster, and they're just a lot more enjoyable. So I'm not going to get into the details of why you should pick an automatic over a manual, because there's just so many factors to talk about. How your commute looks like, who else drives your car, and all of that stuff that kind of goes into automatic versus manual. But the biggest reason of getting a manual transmission is, of course, running through your own gear. So how responsive are the 10-speed paddle shifters? Are they responsive, or are they just there for the show? So let's get on the road and talk about it. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to put the car in sport mode, and we're going to be using pedal shifters to really show you what these pedal shifters can do and how enjoyable it can be if you're in denial that you need a manual transmission. Not to mention, if you're getting a Mustang GT and not a Mach 1 or Dark Horse, then you get the MT82 transmission, which can have issues. They have resolved some of those, but it can have issues. So that's one more reason to get an automatic GT over a manual transmission. But let's get out on the road so we can see how the pedal shifter response rate is, and is it even fun to drive, or are you better off getting a manual transmission? Let's go. So we're out on the road, and then we're in sport mode. A little bit fun right here, but the sport mode really brings this car to life. You hit the brakes, it rev matches for you, but we're gonna test out the pedal shifter. So I'm in 6th gear right now, as you can see, so let's engage the pedal shifters, and because I'm in sport mode, it's gonna hold the gears, which is really nice. So for purpose of this video, we're gonna do some upshifting, some downshifting to show you the response of the paddle shifters, and I think you might be a little surprised. So we're in 5th gear, drop it to 4th, and you can see like the way it's dropping the gears, it's pretty instant. It's not gonna be like the DCT, but it is pretty enjoyable. Let's drop it to 3rd, and you can see me hit it relatively smooth, and we're gonna go ahead and gun it a little bit. Upshift was near instant. As soon as I pressed the paddle, it went into the 5th or 4th gear. So is this same as rolling your own gears? Obviously no, but as you saw from those response rates, relatively quick. You hit the paddle shifters. The only delay, which I'm going to show you right now, is 1 to 2nd gear, and only if you're partially throttling. So right now I'm at a stoplight, but we're in 1st gear, so I hit it, and you can see there's a delay. Like the number 2 went up, but it took a while to actually change the gear, and that's the only delay, only if you're driving around town. But if you're actually flooring it, it shifts pretty quickly. But now we are in 3rd gear. Let's get on it a little bit. Very quick response. I think that's one of the things. I've never driven the 6R80 in paddle mode, so that's the 2015 2017 Mustang GTs, but the 10-speed response, in my opinion, is very good and really makes the car enjoyable to drive. I was one of those people who was considering a manual transmission Mustang, but because of my commute and all of that, I wasn't even concerned with how fast the 10-speed transmission is, obviously, but because of my commute, I just didn't think that was the right move to get a stick shift. But but the response is just so good on these transmissions. Let's do a couple downshifts here as it's kind of slowing down so you can see it. Very quick. We're in third gear right now. We're gonna do a little mini pull. We've got a car up front. Wait for it to go, and then let's go ahead and do that. It's just instant upshift. It's just one of those things, like when you're driving around, you just don't feel like the response is lethargic, and you kind of wish you had your own gears. And in a windy road like we're kind of getting up front, it will hold the gear for you. Something the previous automatics could really not do that. So fun to do. Downshift one more. Especially if you're in back road driving, you want to hold the gear. The paddle shifters do that for you. If you're just switching 1 and 2 gears, so nice. I've got a windy road coming up, and you know, we're gonna downshift right now. So good. So response you saw from downshifting and upshifting is pretty instant. Let's try to do a mini pull right now. We're gonna get to a little stretch right now so you can see what it's like under full throttle or almost full throttle. So if you were to if you're in Mexico and just trying to have fun, what it's gonna be like. So as you can see, we're in third gear right now. We'll wait for the road to straighten up a little bit. And we're gonna hit it now so you can kind of see the upshifting response on this. Now to me, those responses are really good. The paddle shifter, in my opinion, has really changed how the automatic sports car are seen, and some of them are definitely faster, but it's not about being the fastest, because I get the enjoyment of the manual transmissions. I wouldn't say, if this is going to be a weekend car, the paddle shifter is not going to replace the feeling that you get from rolling your own gears. But if it's going to be your daily driver, if you share a car with your spouse or someone who doesn't want to drive stick shift or can't drive stick shift, it makes sense to get the automatic transmission. I had the S197 Mustang GT with the 5-speed automatic transmission because, again, I was daily driving that car. I was commuting and all of that stuff. And that car just was not fun to drive. It was very lethargic unless I floored it. It was fun even after being tuned. But there was no sport mode, no pedal shifter, nothing. And that's what kind of really brought the car down. And that used to be the issue with a lot of automatics before, where you didn't have paddle shifter, you didn't have sport mode. But sport mode alone can be really fun to drive. But if you put in the paddles, they're actually very responsive. They're very engaging, where you actually want to use the paddles. Like, this is not like early 2000s paddle shifter where they're just there for show and you press it and there's like 10-second delay before it changes the gear. As you saw from those upshifting and downshifting, it's very instant. It's not going to be like dual clutch. And if you're racing in Mexico or drag strip, you're better off leaving the car in automatic transmission mode. But if you're just having fun on the back roads and you just want to hold the gears and shift yourself, this will get you what you want. So yeah, guys, I think the 10-speed transmission in the Mustang GT is very enjoyable to drive in sport mode and just having fun with it. But when you really consider the paddle shifters, it really takes it up a notch. The paddle shifters are not there just for show. The response is really good. It holds the gears for you, and leaving the car in sport mode actually and engaging this paddle shifters, you will be in full manual mode until you switch out of it. So you can actually hold the gear for as long as you want, and you can really have some fun if you go to back roads and just really have the response rate is really good on these 10-speed transmission. Again, it's not going to be like dual clutch like the C8 Corvettes or some of the German competitors, but it is near instant for all things considered. And that to me, like, I'm glad I went with the 10-speed automatic transmission, because I can daily drive this car, put it in normal mode, and not have to worry about commuting with some heavy traffic in this with the stick shift. And when I want to have fun, these pedal shifters are there to really make me want to enjoy this car a lot more. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video on the 10-speed transmission, mostly pedal shifters versus manual transmission. Again, it comes down to your own personal preference, but I just wanted to demonstrate with this video. If you're kind of torn between MT82 and the 10-speed, and your main concern is being able to hold the gears upshift and all of that, and you're thinking maybe the automatic is just not going to be responsive, not going to be snappy, well, there's your proof. It's pretty responsive. It's very enjoyable. Again, if it's not your daily driver, go with the manual transmission. It's not. The automatic with the 10-speed transmission and the pedal shifter is just not going to replace the feeling you get from rolling your own gears. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment what is your preference, 10-speed versus MT82, and of course subscribe to Red 50 for more videos.